Hey Atlas, how you doing, man? Oh, nice. This thing's done. Good. Just wanted to swing in and check on that. I found a pretty decent system for my Stasis device farm, so I think I have all my materials sorted out. Now I just have to go build bases.
Product received.
I do have to make a couple pit stops along the way to grab just extra material. I don't want to have to leave the system, so. I think I got everything, just about everything I need. You need quite a bit of pure ferrite, so take this with me. Yeah, that should be enough magnetic ferrite. Actually, a little too much. Right.
Product received. Product received.
the bad thing. I hate warping into a system sometimes not knowing where the heck I am. Hey Lotus, how you doing? If this is the planet I think it is, I'm pretty sure there's a decent multi-tool here. I want to put in a short-range teleporter to bring people over to it. It's not an S-class, but I'm pretty sure it's an alien. Oh, no. I probably have to reload. I might have to reload on another planet, something like that. In a couple days. Yeah, there's an alien rifle and an experimental rifle in this system. I just have to figure out where they all are. Unfortunately, A class is the highest you can get on this one without upgrading. There we go. I have to do a reload. This is only the C class. I know there's a B. I ran into a B class terminal somewhere here. I just have to look for them. Yeah, it's got flying beetles. Alright. I'm digging around. Let's get to building. These little stasis bases are pretty stripped down because you need to have so many plants and everything. So I don't want to make them too big. The way people on last gen consoles can still get to it pretty easily without crashing. Can't remember what I had marked here. It's gonna be sold. This will probably end up being my circuit board farm. I'll have that here. And on the cold planet, I'll do living glass. Unfortunately, I need to break it up into 4 bases. Because I don't have cobalt on one of my main 3. But that's alright. It's a really nice airless planet I found. I'm keeping everything in the same system, where you can just jump from planet to planet. And granted, it's Permadeath, so I'm only going to make 16 devices, but that'll still be over 250 million a day. you're so limited on your inventory slots, it makes it difficult to do more than that. That's why there's only 16. That must be, yeah, some power over there. I hate having to rescan these every time. It's a pretty wild system. Two of the planets are dissonant, and the watch planet is a nest planet. I got giant beetles here. It's actually a really nice system. Alright, those are all scanned. I'm just gonna figure out where I actually want to build. I'm gonna have to stretch my boundaries too. What I like to do is use these roof pieces. Whenever I'm digging underground or putting anything underground, I like to put these here as a marker. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll put a lantern on it. That way it sticks right out. That way, if it's in the middle of a storm or something, you can see it a lot easier. And what I like to do is put I'm gonna have a silo down here right before I get to my base. I like to tie in everything about 100 units away. It just makes pulling the final pipe easier for me. Like I still have another 300 units to go, so about 150 units from here. I'll put down, I'll just dig a hole. Sometimes I'll put a silo in it, and sometimes I won't. It just makes it so it's easier for me to judge how far away everything is. If I can use like a natural cave to put something in, I'll do that as opposed to digging, because digging can be kind of a pain sometimes. And because all my gases, I need 8,000 of each gas. So I would be okay if I just put down 1 or 2 extractors for it. But with Permadeath, you're limited on space so much that you don't want to use you don't want to use up all your spaces holding extra gas. So what I'll end up doing is I'll use 7 silos and 4 extractors. That way I have a nice even 8,000. That way I'm not using extra slots. I mean, it's nice to have the extra materials, but inventory is way more important. So I should start running out of my base limit here shortly, so I'll have to stretch that. There we go. And a lot of times I'll see people use just, a straight row of walls. What I like to do is I like to stagger them out a little bit. I'll put them in rows of three because there have been times where I've started stretching my pipe and stuff, but I will lose the connection. I think it has to do with like the elevation or something. Like if I on like a high mountaintop or something, sometimes the pipes will get wonky. So just out of habit, I've been doing it like this and I haven't had any issues. At least these distances aren't bad, but when you're stretching, like 800 units or more, you don't want to go put in, all the work of getting everything set and then have your silos get all screwed up because something's off a little bit. And I just get close on this. I don't go for 100%. It's not worth the headache. It really isn't. So I get it just about right. And I'll do this little platform trick that I saw Babel Bum do. Just to, get your percentage as close as you can. Something like that. And you drop your anchor. Go back out of camera. Go back this way. Sometimes I don't bother flipping myself around. Sometimes I don't care which way the extractor faces. So. Alright. This is sulfur rings. So. Gas extractor. This should be 59%. Yep, 59. It's close enough. I could sit here and mess around for 10 minutes trying to get it exact, but it's really not worth it. Alright. So now that I know where that center part is, put a wall there. Wall there. Oops. Do that. Do that. I just do this to keep things in line. This isn't something you have to do. It's just easier for me. Because what I do is I just glitch them right on the wire. What I'll do is I'll just put in 4 of these. And that's all set. Now all I have to do is run power to it and run power and pipe. What I'll actually do is I didn't put any silos in that cave. What I'll do is I'll go put some silos down here. Sometimes I find if you run the pipe back but you don't attach it to a silo, sometimes it doesn't want to connect and you have to run it again. So I like to terminate it right at the silo. I've noticed it with wires too lately. A lot of times if you drop a wire somewhere, the game doesn't want to reconnect it. I don't know why. I've only noticed it on really long runs of stuff though, so I don't know, that's part of it. but I know I have 1,000 sulfurine back at the hot spot. And I'm going to have another 1,000 at my base. So what I want is 6 silos in here. And all I do for that is I'll throw down a wire and just glitch right on the wire. I'll just put down 6 of them here, because that'll give me 8,000 total. And what I'll do is from here I'll just run the pipe right back down, right back to the extractors. Like leaving stuff underground. I'm not a big fan of leaving things up on the surface. A lot of times what I'll actually do is bury my extractors. I'm just feeling lazy. Plus, that can be kind of a pain in the butt if something does go wrong and you have to find your extractors again. I don't like digging up the ground if I don't have to. Oh, it's saying my connection's too long? Maybe it was that long. It must be right on the line for it. Point here. Try that again. Yeah, luckily on these farms, I'm only going to have a gas and a mineral to run. On some of my other device farms, I have like five different things to run silos for. It get confusing. So this will be a nice, easy setup. Do a termination here too. I try not to overuse stuff. I try to make these, pipes and everything fairly long. Try not to waste too many parts and pieces. And I'll run my power at the same time. Hopefully the line will stay there. I know sometimes the wire disappears mainly when I'm going to do things underground. Like if I dig a hole or something like that. I think it just doesn't render correctly or something. See, the good thing about this is if you go and you stretch your boundary and you leave the system, it resets everything. So what I like to do is I like to get all my silos, within, like 100 U of the base. That way I don't have to keep resetting my boundaries every time if I have to leave the system. It just makes it a kind of a pain to have to do it constantly, It's one thing if you do it once or twice, but if you have to leave the system multiple times, it really becomes a pain. Alright, so that's one. And what I'll do is I'll just repeat it for the phosphorus. Then I'll just throw up a little basic base. All I'm going to do is use this base. Well, I'm going to be using it for circuit boards, but it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Because by the time you put your plants in and everything, you're looking at like 1,000 pieces for the base. So, it adds up really quick. Because one of the plants alone, you need 128 of. And then, you know, you got all your materials, and that's only one plant. So your piece count adds up really quick, so I make these very minimalistic. So, let's see here, phosphorus. I don't think I have to stretch this one at all, so makes things nice and easy. What I'll do is I'll go out to about I'll go out to 100, right around 100 away. And this will be where my final, like, little tie-in spot will be. Because you can stretch your pipe up to 200 units, but I don't like to push that number, because if I do it, mommy comes to bite me in the butt. So I normally go about 150, something like that. Whereas this one is pretty close, so I don't mind throwing in an extra piece of pipe. See, I should lose my building rights here shortly. So, yeah, they're going now. So I didn't even have to stretch this at all, which makes things a lot easier. And then we'll just do the same thing. Yeah, it's like with my minerals, I only need 800, so all I'll use is one extractor and one silo. That'll give me a bunch of extra, which I don't really want, but I can always throw it on the ground. So that's all I'll do with this.
Thermal protection falling. Weather update. Storm clearing.
Sorry, I'm just gonna step out for a minute. I'll be right back. Once I go that. Neighbor needed something, so let's see here. What I'd like to do with my power is, I know I'm going to need at least, I think I need either 14 or 15 biodomes here. So I'm going to need at least 750k power for that. 200k for the extractors. I think the square room takes up much. Over there. But what I aim for is, what I'll do is I'll put down a battery. And I'll just stick it there. That's just a temporary thing. But what I'll do is I'll just glitch in my refiner, my EMGs until I get to about 1000k. Take what, about 8 of them, I think. Something like that. Maybe 7. I don't want to go too overboard. Like I said, I'm trying to save on pieces, so I don't want it to be, be wasting a lot of parts here. Okay, that gets me just over 1000. What I'll do is I'll put down one more. Worst comes to worst, I can come back over here and glitch another one in. That should bring me to about 1200. Yeah, close enough. And what I do is I leave my beacons here just in case, and I leave my walls here. Whenever I stretch a boundary, I leave everything here until the end. That way, if I have to run back over here for something, it's real easy to find everything. Alright. I forgot to dug a hole here. So, I don't want to use that as some crap. I try to always fill things in too. It's nothing worse than when you go to a base and somebody leaves a big hole there, Just carry this all the way back to the base. I'll just bury the wire as I go. I usually use a wire clipper anyway to hide it, but I just like to make things look a little cleaner. I'm gonna put in this much work on something, at least try to make it look somewhat decent. It's too long already. Oh, I did have one here. I forgot to put up my little roof cap. So that connection was long. Yeah, that's why I like using those roof caps. You can see them from a distance, and you know where you can tie in if you have to. And that'll be the last one. What I'd like to do is figure out where I want to build the base, and I'll run another wire right to the bottom of the base. With bases like this, a lot of times I just stick them on cuboid, the little frame part. Move my ship. I wish they'd do something about, when you go to build something and it says your ship's too close. I wish they would relax that a little bit. Because a lot of times I need to move my ship like 500 units away before I can build anything. What I like to do is I like to kind of look around a little bit. I like to find something that's kind of flat. Where, the ground isn't going to impede on it at any point, which is pretty close to right where my computer is now, actually. And of course, every base is a little bit different, but I mean, these are kind of basic, bases, so I'll end up using a couple of these frames. And I like to always build off the ground a little bit, but not super high either. Let's see, I do want to. I am going to want to sink this into the ground a little bit so it looks more natural. So what I'll do is I'll put down a reverse wire onto a floor. I'll drop the floor down a couple and then just replace it. That way it digs into the ground a little bit. Do that. So I'll take that reverse wire. Cache that. Put a new one there. Take those away, take that away. See, that way it digs right into the ground a little bit. Before I do that, I'll check because this is a little bit lower. So what I'm gonna do is I'll put another cube down at the bottom. I'll get my wire, leave my build cam, and I'll tie my power into this other spot. That way I have power going right to the base. I can take that top cube, reverse wire, and hopefully find that power connection, which it doesn't want Sometimes these are finicky. I have to dig down to it, I guess. Reverse wire. This was what I was talking about earlier. Sometimes your connection doesn't want to connect. That's another thing Hello Games can probably work on when they decide to start fixing stuff. Do that. I've had that happen on some other builds with a lot of wire connections, and doing it once or twice isn't too bad, but if you're having to do it, a couple hundred times, it gets really friggin' annoying. you Zen, you send stuff to Zendesk, but it's like they don't even read them sometimes. But all right, this is just going to be a basic little base. What I like to do, how I've done these in the past, is I will drop this down. Let's see, I'm going to want that. Drop these down. Close. Actually, I need my other shell. Actually, I got enough. Oh yeah, I have another silos. Okay, what happens is when you place a silo, notice I didn't rotate this at all or anything. If I go to interact with this silo, it's going to open backwards for me. See how it flips you around? I don't want it to do that. I want it to do this. So you have to remember that when you put your silo down. It's not a big deal. It's one of my little pet peeves, though. So when I go to put down my silos, I rotate it 180 degrees. That way when I open it up, it doesn't flip me around to the outside of the building. It's just one of those little things, but it drives me friggin' nuts. Especially when I, do a whole base layout and I don't think to check it. It's really annoying. But, let's see here. So what I'm going to have is, I'm going to have my room here, and then my teleporter in between them. So what I do is, I put a half wall in like that, another one, and I'm going to have my teleporter right in between the two of them. In order to get that, I get that space in there so that it's only a quarter of the way into the floor. Take my base teleporter, hash it, copy that wall. Now if you look at the top of the wooden wall, there's a thick side and a thin side. The thick side is going to be the front, the thin side is the back. So I universal adjacency to it, so it comes in nice and straight, nice right in the middle. I'll get rid of these, I don't need them anymore. I won't need a proximity switch or anything because it's going to go into prefab. That's the setup. I will color these. This will be phosphorus. This will be sulfurine. Alright, grab my prefab. Square prefab. Just make it red, I guess. Red and rose. Okay, and these do stick out a little bit, but I kind of like it because it breaks up the outside a little bit. I like using the hollow doors. So stick that in there. As you see now, everything just kind of fits nice and snug right in the corners. You get that there, your teleporter there. Might as well go in, put in my landing pad too. Where is it? like having my terminal on this side so that my ship is pointed that way. Because when you exit your ship, you exit on the right side. That way when you hop out, you're already facing the door. So that's why I like to put it there. And most of the time what I'll do is I will take a couple of these frames and I'll just stick it right in the middle. That'll usually prevent NPC ships from landing, because they can get really annoying if you're in a highly populated area. It gets really old really fast. I'll just stick down like a little save point thing here. Save that. Now I should be able to take my power wire, and just stretch it right over the connector. And everything should be nice and powered up. You do have a wire here, which actually we'll take care of that right now. I don't like it when they pierce through the floor like that. So, but I'll wait. I'll wait till it's like a lower level, like there. And I'll go to replacement. Snap right in. Just stupid little things. Things like that nobody would ever notice, but I do, and it drives me nuts. So I need to do a quick save here. I'm gonna hit the bathroom real quick because I need to bring in. Before I do that, I need to bring in my other ship. I can't remember which one has circuit board stuff. I think it's that one. Yeah, that's all circuit board stuff. I'm going to go grab a drink and hit the bathroom real quick. Just come out here so you can watch the friggin' beetles fly around. And we'll be right back.
Weather update. Storm clearing.
storm's over and start running my pipes here. Get things all tied in. Actually, I should grab power. Now you want to make sure your, because you got two different deposits here, you want to make sure your pipes don't cross over at all. So I tend to go towards the outside of it. I'll do the same thing on that side. Because if your pipes get too close, they overlap and it screws up your hotspot. Because this should read fine. But if your pipes cross over, sometimes it'll say that you have, you know, the same material in each silo. So that's one thing you definitely don't want to happen. That's just bad times. Especially if you're, you know, you have a big farm, you know. You used to see it a lot with activated Indian when people were making really big farms and their silos would get all screwed up. You know, you put, you know, 50 hours into making a base and you go to tie everything together and it doesn't work. It's not good times at all. Been there, done that, so. Too close to Starship. Starship's, you know, how far away? Yeah, it is close, so. Alright. I'll give you that one. Hello, games. They really need to fix that at some point. That is really fucking annoying. Oh yeah, I have these giant friggin' crab creatures. I forgot about that. He's a big one. Big guy. Alright. We have power. See, putting these silos close to your base like that, it just makes things so much easier to tie in. With these, what I try to do is I try to kind of eyeball where the edge is going to be, you know, do something kind of like that. It's not the cleanest look. It's not like things are hidden or anything, but at least it doesn't look like a jumbled mess. This should read sulfurine. Yep, 8,000 sulfurine's what I need. I only need 800 phosphorus, so I'm going to have a couple extra stacks that I can sell or use, or I can just throw them on the ground. I just have to take a look at my numbers here, make sure I get my biodomes.
Thermal protection falling.
Okay, so 15 biodomes. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna overstuff these because it takes way too long to do. So I'm actually gonna build 15 of them. Let's see. I can't remember the spacing on these, so this might take a couple tries. Haven't done biodomes in a while. So it's gonna be 2. One of those. 2. One of those. I think that's the setup. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end up stacking them. I just have to make sure I have the right setup before I do this. Okay. Yep, that's right. So now what I'm going to be able to do is actually get rid of these. I want to color these. Alright. So I'll have my top row. Same on this side. What am I looking for? This. need 15 of these, so I'll take one out. Take those two out. Alright. Might as well put these in while I'm here. Yeah, it's just going to be to line it up. We can use that. I'm used to things being symmetrical, so if anything's not totally symmetrical, it bugs me. Okay. So there's 7 of them, and then I'll have 8 biodomes underneath these. And what'll happen is I'll harvest the bottom one, and it will also harvest the top one at the same time. I have to make sure my ship is, okay, my ship is close enough. Alright. Just checking my sheet here with all my counts on it, make sure everything lines up. What I like to do before I even start is, I know there's going to be 4 different plants here, so I'm just going to verify that what's in my ship matches the numbers I have. So frost crystal, I got way too many. Let's see here. Okay. Something isn't reading right. Cactus flesh. 16, that's right. Star bulb. Oh, is it because of my freighter? Is this reading wrong? I'm going to make it a save and reload. I don't know why that's saying I have so many frost crystals. I wonder if it's reading plants that I have in my other ship. It's not that bad. Why is it reading I have so many? 1600 frost crystal, 800 hydroxide. Yeah. Well, I'll just have to be a little careful when I go to plant. So, let's see. Frost crystal, I'm going to need 32 of those. So I'll just have to keep track of when I'm planting. At least they're easy to figure out if you do screw something up. Because they're all in groups of 16, so you either use 1, 2, 4, or 8 biodomes, so it's not too bad. Should be pretty easy to keep track of. The good thing about this is even if you don't get the whole stasis device farm done, you can still come back later on and get a bunch of circuit boards, which are pretty good money by themselves. So I'm going to have 2 biodomes of frost for it. Actually, I'm going to mute my mic, that way you guys don't have to hear me constantly clicking this. Alright, and 4 of the solar vine. Just like to make sure they're all planted. I know my numbers are a little bit off there. And I need 16 cactus. See, that one lines up perfect. I don't know why. Weird. Well, now that I think of it, I have a bunch of plants in my nutrient processor. I wonder if that's what's caused me to show so many. Yeah, like all that phosphorus closed out, no problem. Oh, my freighter's in this system. I bet. Yeah, it's reading from my freighter. That's why. That's why I said I had so many extra. I should have moved my freighter before I came here. Wasn't even thinking of that. Alright. So those 7 are all set, and I'll put down 8 biodomes and fill them with star bramble. I just want to make sure none of that cactus got deleted when I moved that. No, those are all full. It's hard to tell because it crunched it so much. Those should all be there though. So if they weren't, they wouldn't show up. Let me try a different plan just to make sure. Yeah, there's nothing there, so. Alright. So 128 star level. That should take up all 8 of these. And I always like to double check them just to make sure I don't miss a spot. If you miss one spot, it throws off your whole count. So, you know, it sucked to be, 20 star brambles short to make a device, That would not be cool. Alright, so that should be all of them. That'd be nice because all you do is you pop in, you harvest one, you harvest both. So, really quick. You know, like I was saying, even if you don't get all your farms done at once, you could still swing in here in 16 hours and make a bunch of circuit boards, which go for a decent amount of money. I mean, circuit boards are pretty pricey. If I can find them. Oh, yeah, they're just under $1 million. So I mean, you could get, you know, about 15 million in the harvest, and it takes no time at all. So, and what I like to do here, I always like to put a terminal in my bases. So, just actually grab a save button out here. And actually, I'm not going to bother with a terminal, actually, now that I think of it. But that is about it. As far as construction goes, what I'll do is I'll just go back here and clean up all these. I won't need those. I think I have a wire down here still, don't I? No, where's my glitch wire? I mean, that was pretty quick. It's just a quick little simple material farm. It doesn't have to be fancy. I mean, you're gonna come here, you're gonna pick your plants, grab your gas, and then move on to the next base, so it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Although, like your last base, where you do all your mixing of your carbon and stuff, you might want to make that look a little bit better. You know, a little more involved with it, because that's where you'll spend most of your time. Because you got to mix together cobalt and carbon, so you're gonna spend, you know, a good half hour doing that stuff and mixing all your different stuff together to make a stasis device. And actually, the location I have to do the carbon and cobalt also has runaway mold right next to it, so you can get an endless supply of nanites too. I mean, it's not a massive clump of them, but it's a good size clump. And seeing that your inventory is so small, you know, you can't carry that much, you know. You have to kind of refine it as you go. I thought I had another wall back here, I guess. That's about the gist of this. I want to get on kind of early this morning and try to knock out a couple of these. And because I have a couple other building projects I want to get started on. But I wanted to get this thing up and operational this week, so better get on early, get at least one knocked out. I'm gonna have to take a quick little break here. And some stuff come up this morning, so I gotta go take care of something. I'll probably be back on. I'll be back on at some point today, though. Get this thing all wrapped up and move on to the next. The next one's going to be on a cold planet. That'll be for dioxide and radon. and probably do living glass over there as well. That one's in a weird location too. One of my hotspots is actually right on top of the building. On I think it's a minor settlement. So, it's the first time I ran into a hotspot in that location before. It'd be kind of funky to see, you know, an extractor on top of a roof. Or maybe I could put it right inside the building, who knows. It had a crappy multi-tool, I know that. This system does have, for a dissident multi-tool, it has the rifle. I didn't mess around too much in the system, like looking around for stuff, so I just know that I just know there's an experimental and an alien multi-tool. The space station has a junky rifle, that's a B class. If you reload on this planet and go to the space station, it'll be a B-class alien. If you reload on the Lush planet in this system, it'll be a B-class white experimental, no crystals or anything on it. It's mainly white with some blue markings. I don't know what the other planets offer. I mean, this is a pretty poor system. Well, it is a tier 2 system, but there aren't many buildings for some reason. It has kind of a low economy, so I think that's part of it. I mean, it's tier 2, but it's not. It doesn't seem as populated as a lot of the others. Maybe it's because it's a dissident too. So. Oh, should probably take care of that. Start rambling. I forget I'm dying over here. You know. Set this thing up. Where's my light? That way, when you come here, you just grab your phosphorus real quick, your sulfurine, hit your plants, and you should be good to go. What I tend to do is, like at this base, because you use so much inventory, you're gonna use up a good amount here, probably like 30 or 40, at least 30 slots. Um, what I'll do is I craft my circuit board and add the other base. The other base will be living glass. I craft those two items right at the base. That way they're out of the way and it opens up plenty of room for your carbon and all that stuff. So I just kind of do it as I go. I had a 64 device farm, and it would take about 20 minutes to do the whole process. I think this is going to be about the same time. Because the way the crafting tree is now, it makes it a lot quicker too, so it might only be like 15 minutes. So, but I gotta run out and go take care of some stuff, and I will probably be on in a couple more hours. I'll probably get on sometime after lunch, so try to knock out the rest of these bases today. Alright, well, I gotta run, guys. I appreciate everybody swinging by, dropping likes and all that good stuff, so I will see you guys next time. Hope you have a good day.